you've done good for the UK scene or whatever, there's many different roads to travel and many different levels to embark on, and that's something that I intend to do. Just keep on climbing. I feel like in terms of my career, I mean, I've a lot of accolades, and I have a lot of great experiences, and I have a lot of respect out there, and that's one thing that you can't buy. I mean, no record label can buy you respect. No record label can buy you credibility. They could take your credibility and your respect and package it in a way to make you a household name and a sensation, but that's something that has to be done organically, and I'm pleased to say that I'm one of the artists that got that kind of respect quite early in the game. So I'm pretty content. In terms of recognition, I mean, there's always room to grow. You know what I mean? Like, I came in the game relatively young, so, you know, I've just touched 30 now. You know what I mean? Like, and I've done so many great things and been around the world that if I was to sit back and say, you know, I'm complaining about something, I'd be ungrateful for all of the great things that have happened to me in my career. And, you know, I'm only on my 3rd album, and every single project has been an elevation. From this is my demo, you know what I mean, having that and having the Mercury Prize, one of the albums of the year in the Mobo, then the 2nd album, having the BET, winning the BET, and having to work with Akon. We did deals in Japan, Australia, like, you know, Africa, really, you know. And then on the 3rd album, which is The Deliverance, was actually the first time I got a top 10 and a top 20 in the charts in the UK. So every album, although, you know, I've taken gaps, every album has been progressively better in terms of commercial success. I think, you know, being one of the UK artists that has been affiliated to a major American artist such as Akon, I think, you know, urban music or black music, however you want to paint it, America has been the metropolis for our style of music. And so the biggest stars from our style of music come from America, arguably, not even arguably, like, it's fact. So, you know, for the sheer fact that a lot of the American artists look over to the UK, and, you know, they include a lot of UK talent into their rosters, i.e., you know what I mean, the situation with myself and Akon, and now Chip with T.I., is already a great sign that we're doing good things over here. And you have somebody like Chip, he's young and he came in it young, but he has the intelligence to be able to foresee the situation or see the situation for what it is, and be able to use the situation to get himself out there. In terms of like Chip and Always Recordings, I know them guys, and they're never ever gonna be guys that are gonna rely on another man to break through. They're always gonna need help affiliation wise in terms of breaking a new territory, but they're very self-contained, and you gotta respect their hustle for that. So ironically, he's joined the team, that the Hustle Gang, and they're some of the best hustlers I know in terms of music. So I think he's in a good place. I mean, the great thing about working with a guy like Kano is that we're from the same kind of school, in terms of like, we're one of the few, well, you know, we're some of the artists that came out in this UK scene when it first started to break, and we first started getting real mainstream recognition as rappers, not really as like garage or anything, but as rappers, you know what I mean? And, you know, one thing that's great about our chemistry is that we have a mutual respect for each other. We have a mutual respect for each other's lyrical abilities and flows and achievements. And so when I link up with Kane, we understand we're on a similar playing field. And that's why I like working with people like Kano so much. And, you know, yeah, we've done a few records together, and he's just reliable. You know, like, you know, you call up Kano, you know that he's going to give you a verse and he's going to go in. He calls me up, he knows I'm going to put the effort in. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's just a reliable person, man. And first and foremost, people like Kano, people like Wiley, people like Dizzee. I'm talking people that came out in your 2005s and prior. You know what I mean? I've got respect for all of the people that came out in that era and are still relevant to this day. Because maintaining that relevance is what really sets you aside, because there's a few people that are not around, and it might not be no fault of their own, but sometimes, you know, a lot of hard work and graft can keep you relevant and understanding how times are changing. I mean, for me, you know, being an artist and being involved in music is is a great thing, and I can only hope that I keep on making music or keep on being involved in music in a way that is influential and it's helping to not only influence people but to inspire people. In terms of like, I've seen a lot of different levels of music and there's still further to go. I mean, like, you know, I was on tour with Akon when he was in America, and we stopped at a studio for him to work on a record for Michael Jackson. And that kind of puts things in perspective when you're there and they're working on a record for Michael Jackson and they're back and forth on the phone with him, and you realize that there's so many different levels to this music scene. You know what I mean? Even a man like Akon, who I'm next to, selling millions of records, he's just excited to be working with a man like Michael. You know what I mean? And Michael's around people like Quincy Jones, you understand? So it doesn't just stop at, oh, a UK artist and you've done good for the UK scene or whatever. There's many different roads to travel and many different levels to embark on, and that's something that I intend to do. Just keep on climbing.